you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome again to The Strange Podcast. This is episode 26, and I'm Logan Marks.
I'm Sam Baxter. Today's April 12th, 2018. Episode 26, man. We're getting up there.
Yep, another one. It's marked off on the stone that we. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
A Hearthstone? What are you talking about?
Marked off the calendar. I don't know.
Another notch in the
notch in the belt of
podcasts.
Of podcast sex.
Yeah. So did you do anything good this week?
I didn't really do anything. It's been kind of a boring week. A lot of working.
I know, man. I hate when work gets in the way of fun, huh?
I know. And then I'd like to have fun, but then it costs money to have fun.
I know. Then you need to work to have.
And you work, and then you can't have fun.
It's catch-22, huh?
Yeah. So I guess that's what being an adult is all about, is just life sucking.
God, I thought it was just going to be fun and games, man.
Man, remember we were kids, man, that's all you had to do. That was like your job, was just to go have fun.
Just fucking played, huh? You remember all that, all those things? Remember all those, all our bases we had out in the country at Grandma's house?
Yeah, and we go out by that little foresty area. And we go to bases and.
Do you remember the treasure we had? Can you? Remember that?
Yeah, all those porn.
All those Playboys, penthouses. We'd find by the side of the train tracks.
Yeah, we'd find those. We'd always find like old porns and stuff, and we had like our little collection.
We did. That was our treasure. Remember?
Any of our cousins can go and add to it and watch it, look at it.
Why did we find Penthouse and Playboys next to the side of a train track? Why was that? Do you know?
Yeah, I think because a lot of homeless people would, because it was like kind of a little forest area there.
Yeah.
And people would sleep there. They would, make little tents, and I guess they would have their porn, but they would leave it out there during the, when they were out about going through the town.
That's so weird.
And then we would go around and
we'd scavenge it, man. We'd find our treasure.
We're just always going all over the place in that forest area. We'd always find
We'd always find Playboys, man. And we weren't anywhere close to town, so I don't know why they were always out there.
I don't know, but they were.
Yeah, I know. We've had a lot of them.
I know. It wasn't like the internet where you just push a button and you got it.
Yeah,
we had to work for our porn.
Yeah, younger folks, you're lucky. We had to look at pictures of naked women, and there was nothing else, man. We didn't have any animation. We didn't have any real time shit. It was all magazines, man. Pictures. Like that. Remember that movie? This Is the End, where they were. What's his name? They found a magazine and he was jerking off to it. He's like, "Who the fuck jerks off to a magazine?"
I know.
If you're old enough, you can get that, man. You're like, oh shit. That's what you had to do back in the day, man. You had to jerk off to magazines. We didn't have no internet. We weren't clicking on anything, man. It was all magazine.
Back when it was classy. That was a classy.
It was. That's right. We were pretty classy, weren't we?
Yeah, not like all the cool smutty websites they have now.
I know, man. God.
Speaking of smutty websites, how is our website going?
So, I was kind of busy this week. I revamped the website, so if anybody wants to go to our website, thestrangepodcast.com, I have included a few pages, about 5 pages. So we actually have a comment section now, so you can go in there and leave comments, tell us how bad we suck, or what we could do better.
You can talk all the shit you want now.
Yeah, go ahead. Put in the comments, and there's also a contact us page where you can, leave a message to us, and the message will go straight to us. Obviously, it's not going to post to the page, and you could tell us, give us a story, tell us whatever you might want to. I just reformatted the website, so hopefully people think it's all right. But it's no longer just one page that's just continuously going. We now have 5 different pages. So you can, browse it, check it out, or, like I said, tell us how shitty we are, or how much you like us, or whatever. But the web page is revamped, so anybody wants to go check it out, There it is.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone likes it.
So should we get into the news?
Let's get into the strange news.
Let's get into the strange news. Brr, 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 brr.
Blah, blah.
It's time for strange news.
Sweet, you know how gung ho we were just to look at those magazines.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's the way this is starting.
I found this story. The Florida boy, 14, paid Scottish woman $480 for sex.
A 14-year-old Florida boy paid a woman was in Scotland and he paid her like over the internet?
No, it was just, I don't know why. It's like they said she's a Scottish woman, so I don't know what that has to do with it.
Shit, what the fuck does it matter? It's a woman.
So it says, I know a woman from Scotland is free on bonds from an Orange County jail after police said she had sex with a 14-year-old boy she met online.
Oh shit! Oh, so they did meet online.
Yeah, so they did. Her name's Sarah McGill, who investigators said used a fake name, Sophia Belle, online. Still had her makeup and her pearl earrings on when she got booked into Orange County Jail on Saturday night. On Monday, Miss McGill faced a judge who ordered she have no contact with the victim and not to advise any services on any websites. The judge also had McGill's passport taken away. Police said the 14-year-old boy stayed at the Courtyard Marriott in downtown Orlando, went to the Quora.com website, and found his way to Miss McGill, the prostitute.
Oh, so she was a prostitute. She wasn't just some random woman.
Yeah, no, she was a prostitute. Police said he and McGill began to text, and the two met at the hotel room later. After police said the teenager successfully completed his transaction with Miss Gill, the teenager's father somehow found out his son had paid the woman $480 to spend an hour with her.
Damn.
According to the report, McGill told the detective the victim appeared to be younger than 18 years of age. Yeah, so she was charged, and the child sex detective said that people need to start waking up and start parenting a lot better because apparently the parents didn't know about this. Yeah, no man, shit. That's a lot of balls for a 14-year-old.
Man, I mean, you know, like we were just talking about earlier, you know, with the internet, you know, there's a lot more things going on nowadays that, you know, we didn't deal with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have options to do anything like that when we were 14.
I would have took them.
Yeah, exactly. We were just jerking off to fucking magazines. That's what we had.
Where the hell did he get $480 from?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was just about to ask. Like, the dad must have known. Like, maybe he stole it from his wallet or something.
I know. That's probably how he found out.
Maybe his dad was going to use it for some fucking prostitute.
Where's my prostitute?
I know. I need to get laid, damn it, boy. Did you take it from the hand that feeds you? So the dad found out. They called the cops, and the girls. Well, I guess we'll have to stay on top of that fucking article. See what happens to her.
I wonder what the deal was. Like, what the deal with Scotland?
Yeah, why did they have to put that in? Like, I thought when you were first saying that, I thought like maybe she flew in from Scotland, like to fuck this kid.
I know, because it would cost a lot more than $480.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I'm assuming that she was probably just living here already, and I don't know why but if I had to say that she was from Scotland, so they could say that they took her passport.
Oh, that's probably
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
It makes it a better title though.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Scottish whore.
Scottish whore. You don't see those every day.
No, I know. So speaking of another strange news article, so you know sometimes people piss us off on the road. It all happens. We all know that. And here in the States, you know, people get really mad, angry about driver cutting him off. A man shoots out church windows. So this man was upset after someone cut him off in a church parking lot. Told police he took his anger out by shooting out the house of worship's windows. So police arrested Ryan McFall, 32-year-old, after reviewing Araphael United Methodist Church security footage and identifying him. So pellets from McFall's BB gun broke through the outer pane of the double pane windows, but did not reach the inside of the building, according to the church's Facebook page. In his confession, McFall told police he wasn't trying to hurt anyone, just trying to cause damage to church property.
Oh, that's better.
I wasn't trying to maim or kill anyone. I just want to fuck some shit up. So McFall posted a $5,000 bond and is out of jail.
So, like, why did he shoot? I don't understand why he shot at the church.
I think that was the closest place he was at. And he's
so
like,
he just like pulled a gun, like trying to pull. Yeah,
like he was so mad, and the guy probably sped off. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot out these windows here at this whatever this is."
I can imagine it with like one of those pump rifles.
Yeah, I know, just shooting at it all mad.
Trying to like pump it.
He's just so
take like
mad.
10 pumps. Yeah, 10 pumps to shoot out the.
So, especially shooting at a church, people usually that doesn't go well. That doesn't bode well for anybody.
That's not a smooth move. For
no,
anybody.
guy. I'm sorry. This guy, like I said, you gotta watch out for these fucking people. That road rage is a real thing.
People get so pissed off for like stupid reasons.
They get real mad. People do not like that.
I know, like usually, like if I'm driving like on the freeway or whatever, and I'm driving in the fast lane, and someone comes behind me, I just get out of the way so they can come through.
Sure.
Because that's just why not? I mean, I'm not going that fast. I might as well get out of people's way.
But how about if you're just in your own lane, minding your own business, and the car just fucking pulls right in front of you and swerves in front of you and cuts you off? Does that make you mad?
That makes me mad.
Exactly.
That's different though.
That's what I'm saying. People just get mad for a lot of different things. That's all I'm saying.
I knew this guy who was driving the fast lane, but he would get pissed off when people would get behind him and like flash the lights.
Why he didn't want to move to the slower lane?
He didn't want to move over because he'd get all mad because he's like, this is my lane. I'm driving this speed. I'm like, you're driving in the fucking fast lane.
Yeah, you need to. It's 60 and people go 70. So fucking go. So either go 70 or move over.
Yeah. The whole lane's for just passing. That's what the purpose of that lane's for.
And I've been behind. I think I've been behind that jerk because I've been behind people like that, man. Like when I have a long drive. Like sometimes when I'm visiting the family and I'm coming home and it's a long drive. I've been like behind people that will not move out of the left lane.
Oh, that's the thing that drives me crazy.
It's nuts, man, and it shouldn't, right? But it just drives you nuts. Like, get the fuck over.
How hard is it to just pull over?
Just change lanes.
Right lane? Yeah.
Why can't you? Yeah, and I've seen that, and people have that type of mentality. Where like, fuck, this is my lane. I'm gonna stay here. Nobody will make me move.
Yeah.
And of course, there was some big ass truck, some fucking. Nothing against trucks, but I mean, there was a guy who probably thought he was immortal, right? That's the guys that like when it's snowing. And they think, well, I have 4x4. Like ice won't make me sled.
The whole ass.
Yeah, they'll go like 80. Yeah, I got 4x4 and I have like 6-wheel truck on my trucks and still fucking road rage is real. Got to be careful, people.
So I got a story. I know how much you love KFC stories.
Oh, I love KFC. Is that Double Down coming back? I never got to try that shit.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll try it if it came back. I missed it last time. I don't think I'll do it this time.
So when a guy Dion Sees filed an unemployment compensation, he claimed he was fired from his job at Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant for asking for a raise and for being too demanding. Sia's ex-employment insisted there was more to it than that. Basically, the owner says that claimed that Yields was canned in January 2017 after he ranted and cursed at his supervisors after demanding a coworker be fired for sexually harassing him. They claimed Sia's demanded to be addressed as sir and caused such a profanity-laced ruckus that the management called the police on him.
Jeez.
So he was trying to get unemployment, and he was trying to claim that I was like, hey, I didn't do anything. I was just trying to be I was just a perfect worker.
Yeah, I'm a model employee.
I was a model employee. Yeah, and I guess they came out with it. Basically, the guy was just a douchebag. Started cussing. So they had to call the cops.
He was a self-entitled douchebag, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fuck, those are the worst. So man.
They even had to call the cops to escort him out.
Why would you want to be called sir?
I know.
I remember being in high school. I remember one time somebody called the teacher sir, and he got all mad. I'm not. We're not in the army. Like, oh shit! Take it easy, guy. I got all mad about that. What a fucking nutcase, and that's too bad because I love KFC.
Well, you don't have to worry about him cussing at you.
Yeah, I know.
He's gone. He's out of there.
He's out of there.
He doesn't even get unemployment.
Shit.
But I don't know why people want to be called sir. Because
I don't know.
I remember when I was growing up, and you get to that point where you get at an age where people call you like Mister, and you're just like, what are you talking to?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking to me?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
You know, because when you're younger, you're a kid. You know, most people don't call you sir, or you know, they always like see you as a kid. But you get at a certain age, you know.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm old. You
start to get old. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I haven't met a lot of people who demanded or wanted to be called sir. I mean, I understand if you're in the military, that's how it works. But you know, not military. I don't know. I haven't really known. I've known a couple arrogant people, like real jerks. I've worked with that have, you know, have kind of demanded something close to that. Like, you need to call me, you know, address me as this. Like, fuck you, man. I'm gonna call you whatever your name is.
Yo, mama called you dickhead. I'm gonna call you dickhead.
Yeah, I know. Remember those A&W commercials, Mr. Dumbass? It's Dumas.
Oh, Mr. Dumas.
Yeah, Mr. Dumbass, and if you do that...
I used to love that commercial, man. It was all just going off.
It's Dumas. That was an innocent mistake, but that was still funny. So I got another news report where... in Alaska, moose stomps man's foot in Alaska after he kicks the moose. So we all know that moose are pretty big, man. You've seen them, right?
Yeah, they're freaking huge.
They're huge, man. These things are fucking beasts, and they will kill you. So I've never seen one in real life, but I already know that, you know, you don't fuck with a moose. So, in Anchorage, Alaska, a man was injured north of Anchorage after a moose that he had just kicked stomped his foot in return. The KTVA TV reported the man escaped major injuries in the encounter Thursday with the moose and her calf. It sounds like the moose was on the trail, and in his case, it sounds like the guy was trying to go through them. That's never a good idea. Unquote.
I mean, I was just thinking like on The Simpsons, where like Bart was all like, "I'm gonna swing my arms like this, and if you get hit,
yeah,
it's all your fault."
It's your fault. Yeah, he's all swinging his arms. Now, if you get in the way of my arm swinging, that's your problem.
That's your problem.
Yeah. So, Alaska trooper Megan Peters says, I am not a biologist, but as a lifelong Alaskan, I would advise people not to go around kicking moose." That was her good information that she provided, you know.
Words of wisdom. Of wisdom.
Yeah.
Why would you go kick a moose? That's just ridiculous.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Especially because how big those things are. Shit, I'd be afraid to even get close to them.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't mess around with that.
Especially when it has a baby with it, you know.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to fuck with them at all.
Go after you.
Yeah. South Central Alaska has seen a number of violent incidents involving moose this spring, including a man who had a moose swipe at him with his hoof while feeding it, and a cocker spaniel attacked by a moose in an Anchorage yard. So Marsh said moose sightings are on the rise as females prepare for calving seasons in mid-May.
Oh.
Yeah, so you get in the way of them fucking, they're gonna fuck you up. So that's basically it, man. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason about it. You just don't fuck with the moose.
It must have been some sort of like city slicker guy who's never.
I know.
Doesn't really go hiking or.
Yeah. It'll move for me.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I don't know, man. I think if I saw one in real life, like if I was out and about, I'd go the other way. I'm not fucking with that thing. Unless I had Jesse Ventura's chain gun from Predator on my stomach.
Oh man, yeah. After that, I'd just shoot down anything.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'd mow anything.
Fuck you, moose.
Yeah, come on, I'll kick the fuck out of you.
So yeah, speaking of things that you shouldn't fuck with, I got a guy here. His name is Michael Brenna. Was filmed relieving himself after breaking in through a side window at the empty Garda station in Lifford County, Donegal, Ireland. The CCTV caught him leaving the station wearing a Garda hat just before the officers arrived at work. During the early morning raid, Brennan stole 2 Garda caps, a pocket diary, handcuffs, a car key, a Garda vest, a torch, and 2 Garda radios. Police took forensics from Brennan's leftovers. So basically, he went in there and shit on the desk, and they took his DNA from that and began the hunt for him. and it wasn't long before they found him.
But the bloodhounds didn't have a hard time with that.
He was eventually picked up by police. He was caught wearing one of the stolen Garda hats.
He was still wearing it?
Yeah, I guess thought that was cool. He was like wearing it, walking through town, and the police picked him up.
Oh, man.
And he got busted with the evidence on him.
I wonder if he smelled like shit.
I hope he didn't wipe his ass with it.
Oh, man. I wouldn't. What a dummy. At least, get rid of the hat. Or wear it later. Wear it like a week later or something.
Yeah, don't wear it like all out in the open.
Yeah, especially the day of or whatever. At least in a couple weeks, you could just say, like, yeah, a buddy of a buddy gave it to me.
Yeah, gave it to me.
Or, yeah, it was in the trash or some shit. But this guy sounded like he was wanting to get caught. Or he thought like, this might be the same guy who kicked the moose, thinking he was all that.
Why would you go into a police station? And
Why would you kick a moose?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Same thing.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Both of those things are lose situations, man. I don't see it. I don't see you coming out with the victory on any of those. I don't see that shit at all, man. That's fucking. You're asking for your ass to be kicked.
Yeah, stupid people doing stupid things.
So another weird thing, strange story is some people like candy, some people like good candy. This lady here, I don't think has good taste in candy. Mm-hmm. This woman offers to trade her car for Necco wafers.
Necco wafers.
Necco wafers. Remember that candy that's like this weird colors and it says, and they're just fucking taste like shit.
Aren't they they're like those chalky little circles?
Yeah, they're just.
I mean, I do like some of the chalky stuff, like the sweet tarts.
Yeah, those actually taste good.
Yeah, but
you know what? I remember.
I would trade a car for them.
I don't remember anybody ever getting those, or even at Halloween, nobody ever hands those out.
Yeah, those were like I do remember them handing out, but those were like the candies nobody really ate.
No, fuck no. So
they were like the cheap candies.
I don't know. You know what? I think they actually sell them for the regular price. Like if you would get like a Twix or a Reese's peanut butter cup, but I don't ever see them being sold out. But that doesn't mean nobody buys them, because this woman here, a Massachusetts woman concerned about the possible discontinuing of Necco wafers, offered to trade her Honda Accord for some of the candy. Necco chief executive Michael McGee said in March that 395 workers would end up laid off if the company didn't find a buyer, and the company, which has been making the colorful wafers since 1847, could close down by May. Oh. So the news sent many Necco fans into a frenzy of stockpile their favorite candy. So basically, like, the sales spiked from 50% to 63%, right? Because that's like panic buying, right? That's like, oh shit.
I don't know why you'd panic about it.
Well, I mean, if you really like them, right?
I guess. I just don't see why anybody would like those things.
I know. For you and it's hard to understand why.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's just like you remember when Twinkie was gonna go out of business?
Yeah.
Or they went out of business.
They did go out of business.
Yeah, and everybody freaked out. I can understand Twinkie because everybody knows what a Twinkie is.
Yeah, everybody likes. A majority of people like Twinkies.
Yeah, and a large majority of people like Twinkies. I don't. Most people I know will either know what a Twinkie is or they claim they love them.
Yeah, they'll eat one and in just passing. But I don't know any. Like, if you offered me a Necco wafer versus a Twinkie, I'd take the Twinkie. I'm not taking the fucking Necco wafer, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of people like this shit.
So I could see people like buying spending a lot of money for a Twinkie, but like for the Necco wafers though.
Again, I guess if you don't like them, you're not gonna, like, you and I don't like them. We're not gonna understand why this woman did this. Right, why she would want to even offer this stuff up. But if you did, man, like you said, like the people who like Twinkies, I mean, when the Twinkies were discontinued, people were paying like over $100 for a box of 6 on like Amazon or eBay. I mean, people were paying big money for that.
That's true.
So this is like the same difference. The only thing is I think a lot of people don't really like Neccos as much.
It just, I don't know. It just seems like a weird candy to.
I know. I agree, man. I agree. You preaching to the choir here. So this Katie Samuels is a Florida resident.
Oh, of course. That explains it. You should have said that at the beginning. That would have been, okay.
You know, I just wanted you to think that it would not be Florida. So she's been eating these wafers since she was a child. So she says, I offered to trade my 2003 Honda Accord for all their stock, she told the Boston Globe. I knew it was kind of a silly thing to say, but I'm serious. I don't have much right now. So I was like, I've got this car and I want all that candy. So maybe they would consider it. But they decided to pass on her offer, and they said, nah, fuck that piece of shit car.
Take your shitty Honda Accord and get out.
Yeah, we want real cash. So they, she says, maybe I'll try and get more. I guess what I said was kind of impulsive. They thought I was crazy, but they were funny for even entertaining me. So she would have given the car for those Necco wafers, but they were like, nah. Yeah,
well, she could have sold her car and then bought as much as she could.
Maybe that because that car is probably like Blue Book. Maybe it's like worth like maybe like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
I know that she could have. Who knows, man? Maybe she thought like, well, if you see this big car here, you know, you can give me like $4,000 worth of candy versus, you know, if I can only get $1,000 for it. It's
like when you go buy a car at the dealership.
Yeah.
They only give you a couple $100 for your car when it's worth like a couple thousand.
Yeah, I know. Or and then they turn around and sell it for a few thousand. It's like, fuck, why did I even come to you?
Funny. Well, speaking of losers,
oh,
there's a 21-year-old Quebec woman who lost all of her money at a Shoreline Thousand Island casino. She called 911 because she had no way to get home. Leeds County, Ontario, Providence police got the call at 5 a.m. Saturday and instructed the woman to stay put until they could figure out how to help in order to ensure her well-being. In the meantime, however, the woman's luck changed. A good Samaritan gave the woman $20.
Jeez.
She basically called back the police to tell them not to come because
she got $20.
So, yeah, she got $20. But she was gonna head back to the casino to see if she could make more.
Oh my god.
Police didn't hear from her again after that.
Wouldn't it be amazing if she won if she left with like fucking $20,000 or something?
I know. Charles goes home in a limousine.
Oh man, what a fucking nutcase.
Yeah, so the police are here like giving a little lecture about it. Please don't call.
Yeah, this is not an emergency. Fuck off.
Unless it's an emergency.
Fuck off, basically.
He was like, and he basically the commander there would say that instead she needed to get a phone number for the addiction, mental health, and problem gambling services.
Now that sounds about right. Fuck. Oh man, I wonder what they would have done when they showed up. Like
they probably, I don't know.
They probably would have lectured her, huh?
Well, shit. I mean, there's some places where houses get broken into, and it takes them like hours to show up. They probably wouldn't even show. They probably wouldn't have came down.
Well, you never know because maybe they thought something was going on at the casino, and the casino's got a lot of money, right? So.
Yeah, but she don't.
No. I'm saying, what if they thought like something else was going on, like there was some fucking sting off operation going.
Maybe.
I don't know. They want to protect the casinos. It's a lot of money there. What a dumb fucking lady.
People are just awful.
We're all awful, goddamn. We suck.
All right, so we should probably start getting to the main topic.
All right.
So what's the main topic?
Main topic today is people who are allegedly from parallel universes.
Oh, people from parallel universes. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go on break, and then when we come back, we'll be talking about that. And we're back. All right.
Yeah, so there's been a couple of few people in history that people don't know where. There's been stories of them like showing up, and they allegedly come. They claim they're from places that aren't on our universe's Earth. Mm-hmm. So the first one that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of is the man from Taured. So this happened in 1954. And at the Haneda Airport in Tokyo, just a regular routine flight coming in from Europe. At the customs check, there was a neatly dressed guy, white guy, and he stepped up to the officials and he just said he was there for a normal business trip. So his primary language was French, but he spoke Japanese and other languages. And in his wallet, he had different currencies from different European countries. So when they asked for his country of origin, just routine questions, he said he was from a country called Torred, and it was on the border between France and Spain. So the officials were like, Torred, that's not an official country, that doesn't exist. But he presented him with a passport issued by the country of Torred, and it also showed visa stamps, corroborating, his previous business travels to Japan and other countries. And so they called the company that he was supposed to be meeting with. And they had never heard of him or the company that he was working for. So,
was it Vandalay Industries?
Yeah, Art Vandalay. So the hotel he had reserved the room at had no reservation for him, and the bank listed on his checkbook appeared not to exist. So the white guy, the Torrid man, thought that they were kind of fucking with him. Like, yeah, these guys are just playing a joke on me. I've been here already lots of times. I've been to Japan.
So he was acting all upset and stuff.
Well, not really upset, but he was just kind of like, "Come on, guys, enough already." Enough with the gag. But the customs officials, they showed him a map of the world, and he pointed to a tiny country, the tiny country of Andorra, and perhaps that was his real country, and somehow he either mistaken it for, or maybe he was joking with them, they thought. But then the guy started getting pissed off, saying, "Look, man, Andorra doesn't exist. It's not real, but Torrid is. I don't know what Andorra is, so stop fucking around. I'm getting tired of this." And he said that the country Torrid had existed already for thousands of years. And he was just getting pissed off, and he was starting to get kind of freaked out, what the hell, how do you not know where Torrid is, So the officials were like, okay, this is getting a little too weird. We got to investigate this more. We're going to put you in this hotel nearby for the night and figure out what's going on. So they put him in there. They had some guards there watching him outside his door. He wasn't on the first floor. He was on a higher floor. So the following morning, things got even weirder, where that man from Torrid vanished from his room that he had been guarded by with the immigration officials all night long. And what made things even worse, or unbelievable, is that all of his personal documents, including his passport, driver's license, everything he had given them had also disappeared from their security room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and police and airport officials searched in vain for the mysterious man. And it was almost as if the whole encounter didn't even happen. So because of that, there's no documentation verifying that the story ever, really happened. And it's been mentioned in books, and they've thought other people. There's been a few other people that have also kind of had this type of mix up in maybe universes. There was another story named a guy named Joseph Voren. So in 1851, he was wandering freely in Frankfurt, Germany, and the German authorities inquired about his origin, and he said he was from Laxaria.
Laxaria?
Laxaria, L-A-X.
Laxaria?
Yeah, Laxaria, which lay on the continent of Sakria. The authorities were baffled, since none of these places they heard of had ever been heard of by them. It didn't exist on the map or anything. And the guy just kind of disappeared. He just went off and disappeared. They didn't find him again. Just gone.
Just like that other guy, yeah.
Yeah, just gone. I mean, they weren't detaining him. He just kind of walked off and just he's just gone. They couldn't find him again. Another weird incident was in 1905. There was a young man. He was caught stealing a loaf of bread in Paris. I mean, he was speaking an unknown language. And so they started interrogating him, and after a long session of interrogation and lots of efforts, the man managed to convey that he was from Lisbia. So they thought maybe he was saying Lisbon, Portugal. So they brought in a Portuguese interpreter. But they soon found that he wasn't speaking Portuguese. The Portuguese guy's like, no, he's not speaking Portuguese.
I don't know what this guy's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And his language didn't seem to be like any type of babble. It seemed like it was an actual language from what they could tell. But they couldn't communicate with him. So eventually they just like, fuck it. Just go, you know. Just get out of here.
Just get out of here.
Yeah. And he was never seen again either. So I mean, the Torrid one is like one of the most known stories that people have talked about. It's a really well known and perplexing, because it seems like, you know, officials, lots of people talk to him, and you know, he was getting irritated.
I think that one's kind of more intriguing because like they actually had documentation and stuff, and the fact that it disappeared.
He just disappeared. He was out.
Yeah. Well, the fact that his documentation disappeared as well kind of makes it really, really weird. Because, like, I can understand if like they put him in a hotel room and maybe the guy was just like, fucking just crazy enough to like crawl down, you know, a couple couple stories, you know.
Yeah.
Then he just disappears. I could see that, you know. I was like, okay, maybe the guy was just gung ho to get out of there.
Yeah, just want to get out.
But the fact that all his stuff was disappeared, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But there's one more story that I want to talk about. This is a longer one, and this one's a little more weird, and it's well, let's just get into it. So this is from a woman named Lorena Garcia. Mm-hmm. So on July 16th, 2008, it was a Spanish woman. This woman like posted a comment on an online forum asking for help. So she's this 41-year-old woman. She claims she woke up in a parallel universe. And she's saying the world that she woke up to had small like inconsistencies in various aspects of her life. Mm-hmm. She was pretty sure that she was living in an alternate reality. These are the conclusions she had come up with because she could not figure out what had happened. So, on the morning of July 16th, Lorena woke up and found that her bed sheets were a different color, right? Mm. And she was confused, like, what the hell? Like, these aren't the sheets I went to bed in. But she couldn't figure out, like, why that was. She thought, well, fuck, maybe I just, whatever, you know, not a big deal. So she's like, fuck, I'll just go to work. So she went to her job that she'd been working at for 20 years, around 20 years. So she went out to her car. It was in the same spot that she had parked it the night before, where she always parked it, and she drove off. Same way that she always went to work. So everything else seemed normal besides the bed sheets. So she arrived at the office, and inside the office building, there was a few strange people that she hadn't seen before, but she thought, whatever, you know, maybe there's new employees, right? So she walks towards her own office, only to discover that there's a different name on the door. It wasn't her name. So she thought maybe she'd got off on the wrong floor of the building. And she went back to look, and she was on the right floor, you know, the same floor she'd been getting off for the last few years. She went to the right office. It's just her name was different, the name on the door. So she was confused, and she thought, man, like, did I get fired and nobody told me? So, you know, certain things like that kind of go through your head, right? Like, oh, shit, you know. Yeah. So she thought, like, you know, after 20 years, is this the way they're going to do me in, you know? So, her laptop was connected to the company's, you know, network, and she found that she was still in the company roster, but it showed that she was under a different manager in a totally different department. So she was like, okay. So she checked out, like, her credit cards, driver's license, work ID. They all had the same information that she, you know, always knew of. Same picture, same numbers, same home address. You know, everything was all the same. So she didn't know what to think. She was like, what the hell, you know? So she just said, I'm going to take a sick day. I'm out of here. And so she thought, maybe something's wrong with me. There's got to be something wrong with me. So she went to the doctor to see if there's something medically wrong with her. And they ran tests on her, checking the signs for, like, maybe some drugs in her system. Like, maybe I had a drink last night that was bad or whatever.
Some mushrooms or something.
Yeah. Maybe the cocaine and heroin were not jiving together. So, all her tests she took for, like, any type of drug or anything weird in her system came back negative. No alcohol, no drugs in her system. She was all clean. Doctor's like, nope, nothing to see here. Move on. So she went back home, She started going through her personal files, bank statements, personal checks, bills. She double-checked everything, triple-checked. They all had the right information on it, everything that she knew of. So, something just, a new thought kind of like popped in her head, like, maybe I have amnesia. What if something happened to me and I can't remember parts of my life? So she began like just kind of scouring the internet, and she saw that the news and top stories were the same as the previous night. So there was no missing days, right? And as far as she knew, she had woken up living a slightly different life. So it had been 6 months. One of the things that in her life was it had been 6 months since she had left her boyfriend that she was dating for 7 years. And she recently started dating a man named Augustine that lived down the street from her. And those two had been dating for 4 months. And she had got to know him quite well. So she thought, I'm gonna call Augustine. So she called him his number, and somebody else picked up. They told Lorena that no one by that name lived there. There was no Augustine. Or she tried to give him a description of Augustine. They're like, no, I don't know who you're talking about. Nobody with that name or that looks like that lives in this house. So it was like, okay. So she was pretty kind of hurt about that one because, Augustine had a kid and she was getting to know him pretty well and had met the kid. And she was, she was happy with him, with the relationship, the way it was going. But now she was pretty sad, right? Because that was like just gone. But now there's no signs of him at all ever existing, or his son. So yeah, just gone. So as the day went on, she found more and more like different inconsistencies. But she had to go back the next way, and she had to go back to work the next day and pretend that everything was right. So, but she started doing like investigating about Augustine, right? Like, man, he's got to be around here somewhere. So she was searching online, searching people like they might have known him, her friends, his friends. None of them had ever heard of him. Never existed. And that's when she learned that she had never left her ex-boyfriend, the one I was saying before. They were still together.
Oh.
So her and the ex had still been together since 7 years. They'd never separated. So she was like, what the fuck? Like, the man that, I left this jackass, and the man I'm really starting to like is gone, and I'm with the jackass. So she started, like, thinking, like, what the hell happened to my life? The life that I knew, like, did I hallucinate? My career, my relationship, my lifestyle, was that all hallucination? So then she thought, like, maybe I had a nervous breakdown at one point, severe enough to implant false information into my head, false memories,
Yeah.
So she thought that. So she went to a psychiatric clinic, and she got tests done, and the test concluded that she was of healthy body and healthy mind. The doctors told her that maybe she was under a lot of stress and could have hallucinated at all. But an explanation she had thought about but knew wasn't true. She's like, no, I wasn't under that much stress. I don't think I would hallucinate at all. It's too real. So she went out to keep looking for Augustine, but nothing. She just coming to dead ends. She even hired like a PI, a private dick, to look for him, and he concluded that there's no signs of Augustine or his son in that city. Like, no such thing.
So he doesn't even exist.
Doesn't exist, man. The guy that she fell in love with and the son of him gone, never existed. So like days and weeks, months passed, and she began to discover small but unnerving differences in her life. Clothing in her drawers and closets that she didn't remember buying. Blog posts that she had made weeks, even days before, were gone. Emails and chats were no longer archived in her computer. Browsing through sites and blogs, the world appeared to be the same, just like she had remembered it, before that night, that July night. So as months passed and no answers could be found, Lorena soon became convinced that she had simply just gone to bed one night and woke in a parallel universe, a world in which her life had been altered by small decisions in her past. So she thinks that she doesn't know what happened. She has no idea. That's the only conclusion she can come to after getting psychiatric, everything type of help she could. So
she never was able to go back to her old life?
No.
That she remembers?
She woke
So
up.
this- so-
she just woke up and everything was different.
So this universe that we're in, right? Our reality right now. That's her reality as well.
It is now. She's in our.
Oh.
She's stuck in our reality now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, the reality that she was in is gone. Augustine, her job with a different boss, different department, stuff that she had posted online, that was in her other parallel universe, and now she got intertwined and thrown into ours, and things that bed sheets, all that's gone, never existed.
I wonder if she just had like dementia or something.
That's what she thought. That's what she went to the doctor. She asked them.
And then
They said no. There's no like early onset of dementia or anything. You're physically and mentally healthy. Because that's why she was going like, man, I don't know what to think. Like, what the fuck could have happened? Like, why is this happening to me? That's why at first she thought maybe drugs, maybe something, she got sick. And then she went psychiatric help. They're like, nope, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. So she's come to a point like where I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Like, I just totally need help.
that's kind of sad.
Yeah, and she actually...
it's like all the stuff that
Yeah.
your whole life is basically just ripped from you.
Exactly, and she even made a post in an online forum asking for help, and she said, in her post, she says, please, if anyone has gone through something similar, please contact me. I want to know what happened to me, as no pathology can tell me what has happened to me. I spent the last 5 months reading theories that I find online, and I'm convinced that I have jumped into an alternate reality. Some action I must have taken has changed my reality. If I did jump into a parallel universe, then why am I living in the same year? I'm the same person, just minor differences in life. To explain myself better, this is like having lost the last 5 months of my life. It's like they were all just a dream. However, everyone else has the memories of those 5 months except for me. And I've done things during that time that I have no memory of doing so. Please abstain from making jokes or telling me that you have the truth. This is very serious to me. Thank you. And she gives her information.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Like,
she doesn't have...
It kind of reminds me of like everyone talks about the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
And just things are getting changed around and stuff. So I wonder if that's kind of a thing that maybe affected her, because I know a lot of people say like that there's that CERN project where they with the boson collider.
And, yeah.
And they say that's like affecting people's like basically going into different dimensions and things like that.
Oh, so really? They're actually saying that?
That's what people say on YouTube or online. So maybe that could be some sort of reason why it's happening.
So maybe like that turning on had like kicked her somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, some depending on where
got
you're at
thrown
or your
into
location. Maybe she was the only one affected, or stuff like that.
Sure. Or maybe there's others that have been affected, but they don't want to come out.
Well, yeah. Oh, like I said, like the Mandela effect. A lot of people are like, they remember things a certain way, and
Exactly.
a lot of people think it's like, like I lived my whole life believing, something was a certain
thing.
way, a certain thing, and all of a sudden they look back and they're like, hey, that's not the way I remember it,
But you know what's weird is, haven't you ever... Sometimes you get things in your mind that you're so dead set on. And then, say something, as kids, we did something. And I was like, hey, man, do you remember when we did this? And you're just like, yeah, that's what we did. We jumped off the porch and into the tree. And
then everybody has like a different memory.
well, not even that, but, you're so sure of yours. But then somebody's like, hey, I recorded that. Let's take a look at that when you were 10 years old. And none of us are right.
Yeah, it's like totally different.
None of us are right. We were so sure of it in our mind. No, we jumped off the porch and ran into the tree. We climbed up the tree real fast. But in reality, we jumped off the porch, we tried to climb the tree, and we fell off. We just took off, right?
Yeah.
But, so just whatever. I'm just saying, like, sometimes I think our mind is so sure of things that we will believe it. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened to her.
Because I can understand maybe a couple incidents, but like 5 years, or was it 6 years of
5
life?
months.
5 months? 5
Yeah.
months?
Yeah.
That's a long time to not be sure of something, unless, I don't know, it could be something in their brains that maybe
It's
the
weird, like,
doctors couldn't detect.
could be. It's totally possible. Or like you said, maybe the hadron collider
Affected her.
Yeah, what if it did? What if it threw her into another parallel universe that's just slightly different? Like, remember Sliders, that show?
Yeah.
When he first slid to that first other Earth, and red light meant go and green meant stop. I mean, it was just something really slight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, she could have had something like that happen to her, where again, that's pretty shitty. Where you go to bed and you wake up and nothing's what it was, right?
Like I think I remember telling you this story where I was a kid, and that we were talking about that forest area by our grandparents' house.
Sure.
And I remember going through there and kind of getting lost. And when I found my way back, the place didn't seem the same. Like everything felt off.
Oh, everything at Grandma's house felt off.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I went home. Like we went home. We came back from the visit, so it was home, and nothing felt right. Everybody was like the same, but it didn't feel right. Like things weren't. They didn't feel like this was my house. It didn't feel like that. Like when I went to school that week, everything felt so off.
Felt off.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I was in the right spot. It felt everything looked the same, but it just didn't feel the same. So I remember I was like, man, what did I do? So I remember when we went back the next week, we went to go visit my grandma. I went backwards in the path, and then found the house again. And after that, it felt right. And I was like,
so
okay,
like you went back to the door you had went through.
Yeah, like I had found my way back, but I always remember that, like to this day, like I remember that week, how weird it felt. Like everything that happened just didn't feel right. It was like the whole thing. I kept thinking, like, man, I need to go back to my grandma's house and maybe if I go back the way I came, that I can get back to the original universe that I was in.
Gotcha. That's weird. I mean, but what if that was just all in your mind? What if you like?
It probably was. It probably was just
you thought, hey, I went one way.
Yeah.
Now things are off.
Yeah, because I was just a kid at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have a good imagination when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And that's totally possible. But what if it's not? I mean, what if you actually went through some type of wall, dementia, or
did I have dementia?
A dementia wall, a different dimension, and you ended up, going somewhere that were just slightly off, right? A parallel.
Yeah. I mean,
what if your parallel self and that other one went through the same thing you did opposite? So when he jumped into our Earth Prime, he felt things were off. When you were over there, you felt things were off, and you both the next week went back and you jumped back through at the same time. So that you guys never crossed each other. No doppelgangers were ever had. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, what if that's possible?
I mean, it could be. I mean, people talk about there's theories about being there's multiple universes and just it's not just one Earth.
There's no Earth Prime. There's many vast.
There's different from everybody's different decisions or things that happen. That just everything just gets split off into different multiple universes.
Mm-hmm. The multiverse theory.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's got to be billions, right? I mean, is there any way to stop it? It's like a tree branch, right? The tree branch growing down and it just keeps splitting off.
Just keeps growing and growing.
Now, can that get so vast that the universe needs a reset?
I don't know. Well, they say that the universe is always expanding, but it's going to eventually come back to the point where it comes down to a single
molecule or atom or something?
Pinprint or whatever, or just back to its original size, and then it blows up again. I mean, there's that theory.
Wow. That's interesting. So they could all tie together, right?
So yeah, the universe itself is freaking huge. I mean, we don't know, how many universes are within universes. I mean, if you think about basically how when you go into microscopic, I mean, just like in our bodies, there's a whole civilization, or just these big old, there's your body's basically another world, or another universe for these tiny, beings.
Oh, I gotcha.
You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
So how small does it go? Because do they have smaller animals that are on them?
No, you're right, because they say sometimes when a whale dies and it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, a bunch of animals, it becomes a little ecosystem there, right? They all feed off it, and they make a world for themselves. and they're all living there for however long that whale lives there, right? All those type of sea animals can live off of that for like maybe months, and it becomes a world for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they live. That's how they survive. Because creatures die, and they just if they don't get eaten right out of the water, they sink to the bottom, and they create an ecosystem, or like a sustain for other animals to live, and that becomes their world. So how do they know any different, right? Maybe they just go dormant once they're done eating. They just go to sleep until the next food comes up.
We're just living in a giant dead whale.
We could, yeah. We could be on the back of a turtle, right?
Yeah, back of a turtle.
That's really interesting. I don't know. I think these are all weird. The Man from Taured is really interesting to me just because the guy was so adamant, just like this woman. He was very adamant that he was from Taured. And he was getting hot, like, fuck, stop joking around, like, I've done this already. I know your language, I'm not like some jackass who's just trying to, do something illegal or something here. Maybe he was, who knows, but he seemed to be pretty sincere about how he felt.
Yeah, that's been one of my favorite. I remember that story. It's an older one. But that one always like intrigued me when I was younger, because I was like, man, because like, what if it was some dude from a different universe?
Yeah, like, I mean, all his stuff disappearing, and it's like, no, like, what the fuck, like what happened? Like, all these people that different languages, they're claiming they're from places. Again, some people could require psychiatric help, and maybe they needed that, right? But at least with that guy, with him disappearing and all his stuff disappearing, that seems a little more than somebody nutty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
interesting stuff.
I guess we'll never know. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I know.
not today.
No.
Because it's about time for us to leave.
Yeah, we're not here for a long time. We're only here for a good time.
Yeah, so everybody have a good morning, evening, or night, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay strange.
Stay strange. Enjoy. Go to the website.
Yep, go to the website. Check it out. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.